Welcome back to Fever Fire Hoops, where we don't just tell you what happened. We break it down, we relive it, and we give you the fire, the drama, and the storylines that make WNBA basketball unmissable. Tonight's Spotlight: Caitlin Clark's revenge game against the New York Liberty. This wasn't just a game on the calendar. No, this was a measuring stick, a statement, and a warning to the rest of the league. From the opening tip, Clark turned Madison Square Garden into her own stage, a mix of long-range bombs, jaw-dropping passes, and clutch plays that left fans, teammates, and even opponents shaking their heads. So buckle in, because what you're about to hear isn't just highlights. This is a story, the story of how Clark walked into New York, stared down one of the WNBA super teams, and left with a performance that will be remembered all season long. Before we dive into the fireworks, let's set the scene. The Indiana Fever, a team built around youth, hunger, and rising stars, came into this matchup carrying the weight of expectations. On the other side, the New York Liberty, arguably the most stacked roster in the WNBA. Breanna Stewart, MVP caliber. Jonquil Jones.
Her shoulder into Sophie Cunningham's legs. Can somebody please explain that to me? Again. Don't want to hear it.
An interior force. Sabrina Ionescu, a sharpshooter and leader in her own right. A team designed not just to compete, but to dominate. Critics had been circling this matchup for weeks. Could Clark hang with the Liberty? Could she deliver against a roster loaded with all-stars? Or would New York's defense swallow her up? That's the narrative Clark carried into this game, and it's exactly what fueled her fire. Remember, she's not just playing basketball. She's rewriting what people think a rookie can do in this league.
Dubs in the chat.
Yeah.
For Indiana.
The ball tips, and immediately, Clark wastes no time setting the tone. Within 2 possessions, she pulls up from the logo. Not the arc, not a step inside. We're talking Steph Curry range, but with her own twist of flair. Swish.
For Phoenix, it was a quick turnaround to figure out, how we're going to play without, Ari and Sid. And now it's going to be, what kind of wrinkles can we throw out there? It doesn't get easier. And I think we come back and have Minnesota. It's really good mentally, physically, and emotionally for us. And then it gives us practice time, which we're going to need.
Net barely moves. Crowd gasps. Liberty fans look at each other like, did she really just shoot that? And she wasn't done. Every possession was aggression. Drive and kick. Behind the back dime to Boston for a bucket. Another 3, this one over Stewart, who closed out with a hand in her face. Swish again. The Fever weren't intimidated. They matched Liberty bucket for bucket, and it all stemmed from Clark's fearlessness. By the time the quarter ended, she already had 12 points, and you could feel the momentum shift. The Liberty expected a fight. What they didn't expect was Clark dictating the entire pace of the game. But the Liberty are not pushovers. They're too talented, too disciplined. In the second quarter, they adjusted, trapping Clark high, forcing her to give up the ball, testing whether her teammates could carry the load. Breanna Stewart went to work inside, punishing mismatches. Jonquil Jones dominated the glass. Sabrina Ionescu hit a pull-up 3 that sent the Garden crowd into a frenzy. The Fever bent, but they didn't break. And this is where Clark's basketball IQ showed. Instead of forcing...
She goes. She's playing mean and plays out of control. Looked out of control to me. Maybe you should...
Contested shots, she pivoted. She became the facilitator, drawing 2 defenders, slipping bounce passes to Boston, driving and kicking to Mitchell for corner 3s. That willingness to adapt is what separates stars from superstars. Clark wasn't chasing points. She was controlling the game. Her fingerprints were on every possession, even the ones she didn't score. By halftime, the Liberty held a slight edge, but the energy in the arena was unmistakable. Fans knew they were watching something special. Clark had 15 points, 5 assists, and 3 rebounds at the break. But more than stats, it was the confidence. The Liberty looked uneasy. They knew no lead was safe when Clark had the ball. Meanwhile, social media was already exploding. Highlights of her deep threes flooded timelines. Analysts tweeted about her poise under pressure. Fans debated if this was her best performance yet. And you could sense it. This second half wasn't going to be survival basketball. It was going to be fireworks. The third quarter was Clark's playground. Everything clicked. First possession, step back three, nothing but net. Then, a quick steal, push in transition, and a no-look dime to Boston for the finish. The Fever bench was up, roaring, chest bumping. Then came the back-to-back logo threes.
Writhing around in pain. Definitely hurt. And Sophie's one tough cookie. We even have Connecticut Sun players. Look at that. Connecticut Sun players, Connecticut Sun training staff coming up to her as the Fever starts.
The kind of shots that make defenders throw their hands in disbelief. The Liberty called timeout, but the damage was done. The crowd wasn't just watching anymore. They were reacting like they were at a heavyweight fight. Every shot Clark hit sent a ripple through the arena. Even Liberty fans had to applaud. It wasn't just scoring, it was artistry. The hesitation dribbles, the timing, the vision. By the end of the third, Clark was sitting on 25 points and counting, with the Fever right in the thick of it. This wasn't just about competing anymore. This was about taking control. Here's where legends are made. The final quarter of a tight game against a championship contender. All eyes on you. And Caitlin Clark delivered. Step back jumper, cash. Pull-up three with two defenders draped on her, money. Driving layup through contact, bucket plus the foul. Every time the Liberty clawed closer, Clark answered. Stewart hit a mid-range fadeaway. Clark came right back with a dagger three. Jones scored inside. Clark set up Boston for an and one on the other end.
That's what we say together. And it's just more than words for us. I think when you see things happening, there's no other way. If you we're motivated, we continue to be motivated every single time we step on that floor. At halftime, we were motivated, chip away, and that's our mindset. And
the defining moment came with under 2 minutes left. Fever clinging to a slim lead. Clark dribbles, crosses over, steps back, and launches from deep. Over Stewart, one of the best defenders in the world. Swish. Game. Set. Match. The Fever bench went berserk. The Liberty's body language told the story. They had no answers. When the horn sounded, the scoreboard told the tale. Fever win. Clark leads the charge. Her final numbers? 32 points, 8 assists, 5 rebounds. But stats alone don't capture it. This was about the impact, the confidence she injected into her team, the way she dismantled defensive schemes designed specifically to stop her, the way she turned a hostile crowd into a stunned audience. This was a masterclass, and it wasn't just another win. It was a statement. Indiana Fever are here, and Caitlin Clark is not backing down from anyone. After the game, you could see it in the players' eyes. Teammates praising Clark's leadership. Liberty players nodding in respect. Coaches admitting that she's unlike anyone they've game planned for. On ESPN, analysts called it one of the defining performances of the season. On Twitter, her highlights racked up millions of views in minutes. Fans debated, is Caitlin Clark already the most must-watch player in the league? For the Fever fanbase, this was validation. Validation that their rookie phenom isn't just hype. She's real. She's here. And she's ready to lead this team into the future. And when we zoom out, the implications are massive. For the Liberty, this loss stings. A team built to dominate now has to answer questions about whether they can contain the league's young superstars. For the Fever, it's a confidence boost like no other. Beating the Liberty proves they can compete with the very best. And for Clark, this solidifies her status not just as Rookie of the Year material, but as someone who can eventually redefine the WNBA.
Yeah. Yeah, MRI tomorrow.
Sorry.
The way that she fell and, how she was holding herself and how much pain she was in, at the time, it's like...
She's not just a scorer. She's a leader. She's a playmaker. And she's a showstopper. So I'll leave you with this. Was this the single most important game of Caitlin Clark's career so far? Or is this just one chapter in a story that's about to get even bigger? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit subscribe, and keep it locked to Fever Fire Hoops for more breakdowns, highlights, and drama from the world of WNBA basketball. Because one thing's for sure, Caitlin Clark isn't just playing the game. She's changing it. But let's take a step back and really think about the significance of this game. For weeks, the Fever were grinding without their star playmaker, trying to stay afloat in the standings while Caitlin Clark nursed her injury. They battled hard, they showed resilience, but something was missing. The spark, the firepower, that extra push that turns close games into big wins. With Caitlin back, all of that suddenly clicked into place. The floor spacing looked sharper, the tempo felt faster, and every single player seemed to have more confidence. That's the kind of intangible impact a superstar has. She doesn't just score, she elevates everyone around her. Now, let's talk about her shot making. Hitting 7 3-pointers in a single game, especially against a top-tier defense like the Liberty, is no small feat, and it wasn't just about the volume, it was about the timing. Caitlin hit shots that stopped runs, that silenced momentum swings, that reminded the Liberty, "Hey, I'm here, and this is my house." Those back-to-back logo bombs in the first half? That was pure swagger, pure confidence. You can't teach that. You either have it or you don't. And Caitlin Clark has it in spades. The Liberty, on the other hand, looked rattled. Sure, they had their moments. Sabrina Ionescu hit some shots, Stewie tried to carry the load, and Jonquil Jones provided her usual rebounding presence. But it was never enough. The Fever's pace of play, their relentless drive, and the sheer energy in Gainbridge Fieldhouse was overwhelming. You could feel it through the screen. Every Clark bucket sent shockwaves through the crowd, every Mitchell dagger added gasoline to the fire, and by the fourth quarter, the Liberty looked like a team just trying to survive. And let's not overlook the defensive adjustments Indiana made. They forced New York into tough, contested shots, cut off easy passing lanes, and hustled for every 50-50 ball. That's the kind of defense that doesn't always show up in the box score, but makes a world of difference. Combine that with Caitlin's offensive brilliance, and you've got the perfect recipe for a statement win. This victory isn't just another notch in the win column. It's a declaration. It's a message to the league that the Fever aren't here to be overlooked anymore. They're building something special, brick by brick.